This week on The Startup Life.
It's like breathing. I mean, even just over the holidays, we got those couple days where it's slow, and I'm all gas, no brakes, man. That's my thing, man. So, hey, let's eat some Thanksgiving dinner and then let's go get something done.
All right, Startup Nation. So let's take flight with Jason Daniels, owner and president of Titans Electrical. The Startup Life begins now.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Scholars, are you ready to join the 25 Plus Club? Parents, how does thousands in college savings sound? Brand new in our school, the OWL Academy, we have released How to Hack the ACT. Students will cover managing test anxiety, math, science reasoning, and why eating a good breakfast is so important. For more information, go to this episode's show notes for the link. All right, Startup Nation, so I hope you're ready to get some value today. We're here with my man, Jason Daniels of Titans Electrical. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
I can't call it. Man, before we even get into this, tell the people, if you can, about your space. Because when I walked in, it was like a museum, right? It was like this museum of all of your work and your history. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
All right, so you'll find out through this that I'm not your average contractor, man. I got a good design aspect to everything I do. So when I opened this shop, we operated out of the garage for our first couple years, but when we got big enough and it made sense to get a shop, we came out here and walked through this thing with the designer. Really just kind of put our heads together and came up with a cool little theme of wood and industrial. We got pallets hanging on the wall with pictures of the work we've done.
Right.
A gas station, a gas pump light hanging out here in the office. I made a light out of a gas pump. I mean, there's some cool stuff you could really find on Pinterest or anywhere.
Right.
We just drew ideas from a lot of different places and kind of put them together here. I wanted my space where I'm at, actually more than I'm at home, to feel comfortable to me and kind of intrigue people when they walk through the door. So I guess it did its trick.
Oh, it absolutely did. It worked on me for sure. Man. So let's get right into it. What's the story of Jason Daniels and Titans Electrical, man?
Man, we're right in the middle of it, man. We're not at the end. We're nowhere close to the end. It's like chapter 3, man.
I got you. All right.
Long story short, man, I was dabbling in a bunch of different things throughout my 20s, but I started in the electrical field when I was 18 years old, and that was kind of always my foundation. That's how I always paid the bills.
Gotcha.
So when I got up around 30 years old, man, I just kind of figured out I had a different way to do things, man. I was working for these companies locally and seeing how they treated their people, seeing how they treated their customers.
Oh, wow.
And just was really turned off by it and kind of just piece by piece came up with an idea that I could provide this city with something that they weren't getting anywhere else in the electric field. So that was the way it started. Started by myself, went out and bought a old dusty truck for $2,000 and had a bag of tools and a little ladder and just went out and started grinding, man, beating the streets literally.
I hear that. And he actually has a picture of that truck in his space here. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's cool. Nothing happens black and white. We sit here and we talk about, how did you decide? Well, it wasn't just one day I woke up and said, hey, man, I'm going to start my own business. It's little things that happen piece by piece that kind of bring you to that realization that,
right.
Working for someone else is no longer what I want to do. This is not for me. I'm really headstrong. I've got ideas that I think are trumping the people that I'm working for. They're not giving me the opportunities I feel that I've earned. So I'm just going to go get it myself.
I hear that.
So it's a little progression to get to that point. But once I made the decision, there was no turning back. And I'll tell you right now, sitting where I'm at now, I could never go back to working for someone else or doing what I did before I started this.
I can only imagine, man, especially when you got 23 employees, man. I hear that.
We're growing like crazy, man.
I see. Let me ask you this. What do you wish you would have known before you started Titans Electrical? Like up front.
Man, there's a whole lot of stuff I wish I knew. You have this idea of what success looks like, man. You watch the movies, you see it on TV, man. The guy comes, he turns around the corner, he's got 6 business people behind him. They're all taking notes. He's on the phone, personal assistant, hey, get my coffee. You have all those kinds of ideas because that's what you see on TV.
Right,
but,
right.
The boring part, the part that keeps you up at night, the anxiety, the stress that comes along with it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make for good TV. So all that gets cut out. The reality portion of the
process,
day to
right?
day, you see
Mm-hmm.
success, you see a nice car, or you see a nice house, or those things that success allows you to acquire. But it's the day to day. I had a good idea of where I wanted to go, but I had no earthly idea what it would take to get there.
Gotcha.
And I promise you, if you would have told me some of these things back then, I would have been scared to death. I mean, success works in a great way to where it kind of feeds you a little at a time and kind of gives you just what you can accept. Because if you took me in 2012 and sat me in this chair today, just pulled me straight out of 2012 and dropped me in here today, I'd be losing my mind. The money's greater, there's more employees, there's more vendors. I'm way more efficient with my time. I mean, all these things I had to learn to get to the point where I could manage what I'm operating today.
Absolutely.
So it's just piece by piece, you kind of pick up on it, and you grow as your company grows, as your mind grows, as everything around you kind of builds you towards what you're going to become. I don't know that I would give myself 5 years ago too much advice. I might would have quit and went back to work for somebody else if I dropped too much of this on them.
Gotcha. Fair enough. But it's really about that process. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times when people, if you would have told people about that process, they were like, nah, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. So I'm glad you pointed that out. What did you learn from one of your worst bosses or mentors you ever had?
I've been blessed to have some really good mentors by the time that I realized that mentors was what I needed in my life. And
Fair
I wasn't
enough.
shunning the people that were really trying to feed me what I needed. Bosses, I mean, we can go back to that same thing. This just how I want to run my company. In the construction business, employees, especially young employees, they're more or less hazed. I mean, they talk bad to you, they treat you horrible. And I wanted to build a company where everybody in my company, from the youngest, newest guy, all the way up to myself, all felt like they had a voice, had a place they felt like they belong, and were treated as such. I mean, I have an open door policy, and it don't matter if I got 23 employees or 230 employees.
Gotcha.
If somebody wants to have a conversation with me, they can come in here and they can sit down and we can talk. And I encourage my guys to announce and make known their desires.
Okay.
You get in here, you start working. Hey, man, do you want to go towards the residential? Do you want to go with the commercial? Are you interested in going to school? Can we set you up on the electrical program going to school? I mean, I really take a vested interest in everybody who works for me, and I think that it ends up working both ways. I think if you talk to my guys, they'll tell you they don't want to work anywhere else.
Gotcha.
And it's all because of I genuinely care for them, and I treat them fair, to say the least.
Gotcha.
And that's the one thing that I could not stand working for somebody else, was just to be treated like I was nothing.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm in here slamming in work for you, making you money, and you come out here and talk to me like dirt. I just
Right.
it never sat well with me.
Gotcha.
So.
It sounds like you really put in that culture of, we're kind of all in this together. I'm invested in your future success and stuff like that. So
I'm just a quarterback. I just manage these things, and we're all a team.
I hear that.
Everybody on the team has a job. The quarterback's going to get sacked every time if the line doesn't do its job.
There you
and
go.
We ain't going to score no points if the receiver ain't catching the ball. I mean, everybody plays an important part.
Absolutely. Jason, let me ask you this. How do you market or advertise? Do you use social media? Is it word of mouth? So what works best for you?
Man, I'm a pretty big social media advocate.
Okay.
I feel like I have a leg up on a lot of contractors because I feel like a lot of contractors don't utilize social media to their advantage.
Okay.
And outside of social media, I've actually just spent a nice chunk of change revamping our website and working on driving traffic to that website.
I hear that.
Our goal is to grow 2.5 to 3 times this year. So
Wow.
I set huge goals.
I see. Yeah.
I set goals that scare people.
Right.
I set goals that scare me,
Right.
and then just just wake up and go at it like a crazy animal.
But I think you're supposed to, though, right?
Roll through it like a Tasmanian devil, you know. So yeah, that's but the social media thing. I mean, it's a free way. It's a free platform.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to pay for a spot on TV. I mean, you can actually film yourself and have an audience that sees it. So
right.
I've started listening to to some mentors and kind of getting some pointers on how to massage social media to work in my favor.
Gotcha.
And so I put out some content. You're a friend of mine on Facebook.
Absolutely.
You kind of see
what
direction
great.
I'm going.
Oh, yeah, it's great content, by the way. Great content.
And I try to stay current with it so that, we constantly push that content out there so that like-minded individuals connect with me. My inbox blows up, and I've connected with people that I've never met before that I'm actually doing business with.
I hear that.
And just through that avenue, through social media, has opened up the doors to allow us to move into the Nashville market.
Right.
So it's, you speak it on social media and just talk about what you want to do. Man, every once in a while, the right people will hear it and reach out.
I hear that.
And that's been the case for me time and time again, especially over the past 6 months.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Jason. What did you learn from your biggest failure?
I had a humongous hiccup last year, a contract that I didn't read over as well as I should have.
Gotcha.
We're talking about 6 figures. I mean, I paid for a Harvard education with this hiccup here, but in business, you either win or you learn.
Right.
You don't lose until you decide
there you go.
That's what you want to do. So I learned a lot, and that's where, hey, when I get into things I don't understand, my lawyer's at the table with me now.
They got you.
If I'm bidding a project and I have questions about it, I ask. I don't guess. I don't assume. So it hurt, but in the big scheme of things and where I want to be in the future, I'm sure that 5 years from now I'll look back and say, hey, that was a small loss compared to if I would have made it all the way up to this point. Mm-hmm. And then, 6 figures in 2015, 2016.
Right.
Or 8 figures in 2019, 2020.
There you go.
And it hurt, but we healed. We got over it. We moved on.
Gotcha.
And it was a great lesson in business. I didn't go to school for business. I didn't really have anybody holding my hand. A lot of people take over their parents' business.
Gotcha.
I wasn't blessed with any of that. And I mean, let me say I am blessed. I'm not downplaying.
Oh no, of course not. No, I got you.
What's landed on my plate.
Absolutely.
And how I've chewed through it. But a lot of those lessons I did have to learn on my own. Where some people kind of have someone looking over their shoulder saying, "Hey, yeah, that's you want to pay attention to that over there," and you overlook something when you're playing with these big numbers. Overlook one thing, and take it right there in the gut, man.
Gotcha.
Like Mike Tyson. Wow. I'd have taken a hit from Mike Tyson over that one any day, to be honest with you, man.
Right.
You wake up that next day and realize that you made that kind of boo-boo.
Right. Got to cross those T's, dot those I's, carry that one.
It stings, but makes you feel alive.
I hear that. I definitely hear that.
You are alive when you're taking those losses, man, and you're alive when you're taking those when you're taking those wins. But you're alive when you take those L's, buddy.
You're probably more alive when you take the losses than you take the wins.
Breathing heavy and ready to rip somebody's head off.
Ooh, I hear that. Let me ask you this: entrepreneurs always consider themselves, lifelong learners. Always talk about constant professional development. How important is that to you, and how do you constantly, grow as an entrepreneur?
Dude, as I decide to level up, and every time
level up.
I level up,
right?
I mean, I'm in the progression of leveling up right now. You caught me right in the middle of it.
Oh, great!
So I'm not a naturally motivated person. Like if you stick me out around a bunch of bums that ain't doing nothing in their life, that are just sitting around smoking weed, drinking, watching TV all day, whatever the case is, man, I tend to adapt to my surroundings.
Gotcha.
So I have no doubt that if you drop me in that circle and I stayed there for 3 months, man, my productivity would be way down, and I would be more like them than I am like myself now.
Right.
So I'm like putty. I'm easily massaged, and I'm well aware of that fact about myself. So, I mean, I wake up listening to audiobooks. My whole stream on social media 90% of it's people that I don't know personally.
Gotcha.
But it's people that are feeding me that content. That
Absolutely.
I mean, just every day. People really downplay kind of what you put in is what you get out.
It's true.
And for me, I know it, man. So I'm at the gym. I'm listening to audiobooks. You know, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk. Those are two guys that I constantly chew on the content that they're putting out there.
And they put a lot out there too.
Just to continually keep me in the right frame of mind.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't let myself stray too much. Go watch a football game here, go to a concert there, but it's go out, do that, and then boom, right back in, right back focused, right back doing what I want to do, you know, and this is what I want to do, and I love it. I love waking up every day. I love my schedule. I love my job. I love, you know, meeting new people and finding ways to take care of them and make them happy, especially
Absolutely.
when I come behind somebody else that wasn't able to do that.
I hear that.
So it's rewarding, and I got to keep continually feeding myself that motivational material.
Gotcha.
So that I can stay on my game.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that you didn't go to business school, and it actually leads us to a really great question that we get really good responses on. Some people say that, you know, in order to be an entrepreneur, you got to go to school, get a degree, you know, this whole 9 yards. Some people say you just need a dream, a work ethic, and maybe a truck, if you will, and just go for it. What say you on that?
Well, I didn't get the schooling side of it, so I can't really speak on that. But just from my personal experience and then other people that I know, I mean, entrepreneurship it's in your blood, man.
I hear that.
And school's not gonna make you or break you in that avenue. I think school equips you with knowledge to maybe handle some things, maybe help you dodge some hiccups along the way.
Gotcha.
And maybe help you be more efficient with your accounting, business structure.
Right,
but
of course.
at the core of it, man, it's just your desire that gets you up going, man. You can go through 4 years of school and then get knocked on your ass just like that.
That's true.
And 4 years of Harvard doesn't help you take that punch. You
It
know?
doesn't. You're right.
Everybody's a superstar till they get punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the market will do that to you, and it doesn't care about you at all.
Right.
It doesn't care. You can't step up and be like, "Hold on, I got this degree." Well, that degree don't mean nothing, man. We're trying to make money here.
Right.
It ain't your mom. It ain't your dad. It ain't your friends. It is business, and it's cutthroat. So you have to be able to be conditioned, to have a desire inside you to take those knocks day in and day out and get back up and keep going after it. And I think that's more or less what's instilled inside you, not what you can put inside by going to school or reading books or any kind of education that you can.
Right.
Now, I'd never say education is bad.
No, of course not.
But I don't want you to, if you have it inside you that you're going to start a business, I would hate for you to sit there and wait for 4 years of college and create a massive amount of debt for yourself and then go into business. Because the last thing you need to do when you start a business is jump into debt right out the gate. Because there'll be a lot of money that you didn't expect to have to spend.
Right.
You know, everything's black and white on paper. Everything's clean cut. And once you get into it, you'll be like, dang, I didn't even think about that. Dang, here, we got to cut this check for this. Oh, wow, I didn't know the government was going to be in my pocket like this for this situation.
Right.
I got to pay Nashville, and I got to pay Shelby County, and I got to cut a check to Memphis.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of unexpected money comes. So I hate to see people dump all their eggs into that basket called school.
Gotcha.
And then get out of school and realize, yeah, I learned some things, but now I got this big mountain of debt that I got to climb over, and I'm finna strike out on my own. So now it's not, hey man, if I don't sign this contract, I don't eat. It's, I don't sign this contract, I don't eat. They're foreclosing on my house. Now I got to go bankrupt, and they're coming after me, and my credit's shot. And then you're just digging yourself a deeper hole while you're trying to pursue that dream. So I think it's school can work for the right individual, but it's not a necessity. I mean,
Gotcha.
I don't have any schooling past high school, and I really don't plan on ever getting any.
Gotcha.
You're not gonna catch me going back to college. There's too much out here in my niche where I feel like I can succeed without it.
Gotcha. Won't catch Jason at the University Center, huh?
No, not unless they want me to come speak.
Fair enough. There you go. Right. what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten, and what's the worst piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Oh man, man,
Don't hold back either.
My uncle owns a contracting company, and he's been in business since the 80s. And when I first started, and I didn't even understand this piece of advice he gave me when he gave it to me. But as I got further along in the game, it really started making more sense. So it's really cool when someone can drop some knowledge on you that you can't even decipher at the time.
Right.
But you chew on it for a couple years, and then you wake up one day and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
is where it makes sense. And he told me, you're going in business for yourself. I'm proud of you. Come talk to me if you ever have any questions or you need any help with anything. He said, my one piece of advice to you is do not be scared to make money. And the reason, it's going to be hard to explain why that resonates with me because it was almost like I had to live through struggle. Right. And when you're used to struggling and something jumps on your plate that just shines. Like, for instance, man, we just signed a contract at the beginning of December, and we'll be complete with it this week. And it's our biggest contract to date. It's $250,000.
Congrats.
And a large majority of that is profit. Mm-hmm. And that, we like to think, hey, yeah, cool, I'm making money. Boom, 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 boom. But when that kind of money falls in your lap after you've grinded for 1,000 here, 1,000 there, it's scary.
Right.
It'll make you a little nervous. So my uncle's advice, don't be scared to make money. It's almost a common sense, but there's a deeper rooted reason for him telling me that. We're not scared to make money. We all make money, no matter if you work for somebody else. If you're a janitor or you're a CEO, you
Absolutely.
make money. So who's scared to make money?
Right.
But when the money you make is dictated by yourself and you're the one that gets out there, it's almost like set a value for yourself. Mm-hmm. Put a value on the service you provide. And don't be scared to ask for a higher rate than Joe Blow around the corner.
Right, of
who
course.
Isn't doing the job you do. You could say, hey, I've got a great electrician. I mean, we all know, heck, you got a dude around the corner that'll fix your car for $40.
Right.
Or you got the mechanic over
That's
here
true.
that you get, but you're going to get the warranty.
Right.
You're going to be able to take it. He's going to be there tomorrow. He's not going to take your $40 run off and then not answer the phone or phone cut off the next day. You know, so there's a value to different levels of every type of service. I think our goal from the beginning was to create a value of a Cadillac and get away from the Corolla. There are Corollas out there, and there's nothing wrong with the Corolla.
Right.
But you get what you pay for.
Absolutely.
I can go down the street and get some used tires because that's what my money says that I can afford, and my tire's busted.
Right.
So there's no knocking the person that's selling the used tires, cash in hand, boom. At some point, there's a value in taking it down here, getting the warranty on the tires.
Right.
I mean, we've got too many vehicles to be shopping at the mom and pop shop for the tires anymore, So I just want to be that Cadillac. I want to be the cream of the crop. I want to be who you call when you're ready to spend some money, but you're ready for a superior product and you're ready for a service unlike anything you get anywhere else.
Absolutely. And, I remember you posting a while back a video that you made about entrepreneurs and providing value. So I know that's something that's very important to you and how you run Titans Electrical. So
I think that's almost it's another thing that's common sense, but we don't think about it very often.
That's true.
Especially for people who work for somebody else, because I know the whole time I worked for somebody else, the last thing on my mind was what value I was bringing to the table to my employer.
Right.
A lot of times people sit back and think the boss is multimillionaire and what I do doesn't matter, and
Right.
that idea you have of your
Right.
boss. Let me tell you, that's not the case.
Right.
So I just want to instill. I try to scratch the surface on a couple things that people may not think about. So with the value thing, it's really just telling people, hey, what you do matters.
Absolutely.
To everybody who's giving you attention or spending money with you or you're spending money with them, I mean, there is a value. So I try to instill that in my life. Really, my videos are for myself, and I just put them out there because if I'm getting something out of that piece of education, then I'm sure somebody else can chew on it as well.
Fair enough.
And I just think that if you try to approach everything you do, if it's worth doing to the best of your ability, and make sure you're providing value in every situation. And that goes with your relationships.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. With your loved ones, with your kids, with your coworkers, with your friends. I mean, what develops a good friendship, man? Providing value to that friendship.
That's
man.
true.
Being there for your friends, and so it goes further than business. It seeps into every aspect of your life, man. So that's kind of eye-opening for some people, but if you wake up tomorrow and just try to provide a little more value in every situation you attack, sooner or later you're going to see the benefits of that.
It's true.
Happier marriage, better relationship with your kids, more money at work, promotions. I mean, those things come when you show a desire and seek out to provide value.
Absolutely, and understanding that it's a process that that ROI won't be instantaneous, right? And so it's like you say, in a relationship or in a business, it takes time. You got to embrace that process to get that.
A lot of people are scared to invest.
That's true.
Or don't want to invest.
Right.
They're very short-sighted. What am I going to get out of this immediately? Whereas, man, I'm planting seeds now that probably won't show fruit till 2020, but I'm already planning for 2020. So
there you
I'm
go.
planting the seeds now.
What does your average day look like here at Titans Electrical, Jason? And be specific as possible.
That's a great question because actually with my goals for the new year, the umbrella over my goals is discipline, and it's discipline in every area of my life. So pertaining to your question, discipline in my schedule. Now there's a lot of my schedule that I cannot control just because of the nature of the business.
Of course,
this phone rings, I got to go put out a fire somewhere. Something happens that I wasn't expecting.
Right.
But there are portions of my schedule that I can control. So I religiously wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm at the gym at 5 o'clock, and I put in an hour and a half, which is really a good stress relief. If anybody starting a business, I would suggest, get yourself a workout in the morning.
I hear that.
Sweating it all out really helps prepare you for whatever the day is going to bring. Then I come here to the shop, 7 o'clock in the morning. My guys get here. We load up the trucks. I make sure I get them out the door. Try to sit in this office at least till 9 o'clock. Work orders, contracts, phone calls, emails, and then I start scheduling appointments after 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, I may be out that door. And there's some days I stay in here all day. But at 9 o'clock, that's when the appointments are set. And maybe a conference call, maybe going and looking at a job, walking through some of our bigger projects, just doing a little FaceTime, making sure that owner knows that we're there and we care about the product we're installing.
Of course.
Usually our cutoff time for work around here is 3:30.
Okay.
You'll catch me here 4 or 5 o'clock, and then unless there's something special going on, we're just talking about day in, day out. The majority of the time, I'm at home and I'm completely wound down by 8 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Now, the discipline in my schedule that I'm trying to implement this year, kind of adding onto that piece, I've been getting up and working out early in the morning for about 2 years now. So I decided to put another piece in there, and that's reading. Before I go to bed, I try to read 30 minutes to an hour before I go to sleep. So that's the first part of my day and the end of my day are really the parts that I can control, and then the things in the middle kind of get muddy sometimes. But it's here in the office. It's looking over contracts. It's answering questions with my guys out on the field.
Sure.
Just really kind of being pulled in whatever direction the company pulls me for that day.
Gotcha. I hear that. How you liking being on the Startup Life, man?
Man, it's great, man. This is my first podcast. I hope first of many.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to doing more stuff like this and,
cool.
And getting that content out there.
No wrong with that, man. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and you're listening to the Startup Life. Teacher looking for great resources, look no further than Owls e-commerce store on Teachers Pay Teachers. The store name, Teaching with Owls. Enjoy great lessons based on short stories from great authors such as Kate Chopin's The Story of an Hour and Edgar Allan Poe's The Mask of the Red Death. And no worries, teachers, all lessons are Common Core aligned. Let's continue. All right, Startup Nation, so let's continue. So, Jason, what's a popular misconception about business?
That it's easy and that you get rich overnight. You own a business, man, you got tons of money, and you got it made,
Gotcha.
You watch the movies, man, you see the boss sitting up in there just Nothing going wrong.
Gotcha.
Feet kicked up, smoking a cigar, beautiful women, cars, and houses everywhere. Man, maybe one day.
Right.
It takes a minute. Nobody sees the process.
Right.
People like to see the front game, which is just coming up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I'm going to do this. And then fast forward all the way through, and boom, here I am balling.
It's funny you mentioned that because a few episodes ago I said that it's almost like people see the startup idea, video montage, millions, right? And it doesn't work nearly like that at all.
The part that's not glamorous, the part that's not televised,
Right.
is the part that it's where you're made or broke.
That's true.
It'll
It's
either
very
make
true.
you or it'll break you. To be honest, man, they say 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years. I contribute a little bit of that to economy and bad luck, but a lot more of it I contribute to people going into business not knowing what it's going to take and just laying down, being like, this ain't for me.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Now, I've always been an advocate that entrepreneurship is not like a 9 to 5 where you come into your office, you do the day-to-day, and then your day as an entrepreneur just stops. So let me ask you this. How has entrepreneurship affected your lifestyle, like maybe even outside of Titans Electrical?
Let me tell you something. If I want my job to stop, I drive down to New Orleans, I get on a cruise ship, and I go as far into the middle of the ocean as I can get. And that is the only way that I have found for it to stop. But
Gotcha.
to be honest, man, it's almost like breathing. I mean, even just over the holidays, we got those couple days where it's slow, and I'm all gas, no brakes, man. That's my thing, man. So, hey, let's eat some Thanksgiving dinner, and then let's go get something done. That slow pace is just not for me, and I see it in other people around the holidays. I can take a couple days off. I'm good for a couple days off, but man, a week,
Right.
That sounds like a nightmare to me, man. I just don't know what to do with myself, but I sit around and go stir crazy just thinking about all the things that could go wrong,
Right,
or what ifs and all that. Man, I got massive action, man. I gotta be doing, so I'm not over here thinking, because I'll overthink and outthink myself, and then it'll all fall apart. So too much time off is not good for me. So I don't like to stop.
Gotcha.
My phone rings constantly. I try to answer the phone as much as I can. I take small pieces,
Right.
I take my daughter to a Grizzlies game.
Of course.
Go to a movie every once in a while. Go out to dinner with some friends or some family. Mm-hmm. But very small slices of anything other than my progress and what I'm doing. And that's just where I'm at, man. I feel like I wasted a decade of my life following just taking life as it came at me,
Right.
instead of attacking life and making it what I wanted.
I hear that.
I'm a believer that you can predict the future if you put the plan in place and you follow it.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you right now, I know exactly where I'm going to be next year. I know exactly where I'll be in 2018, and I know where I'm going to be in 2020, and I'm working on after that. So get back with me, and I'll fill you in there.
Right.
But you can predict your future if you just are intentional about it.
Absolutely.
And too many of us sit back and just take life as it happens, man. I really want to instill that into people is, man, you live in the best time, in the best country. You got the most opportunity, and technology has provided you an outlet that doesn't take you going and knocking on
Absolutely,
doors, man.
yes.
You can digitally knock on doors from your bed in your underwear. You don't have to do a whole lot the way you used to. It's really... we're in the golden age, and if you want it, you can go get it. And I just want people to know that.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that about tech, because I try to drive home that point all the time. Like, tech levels the playing field. It allows you to do things that we couldn't do 10, 15, 20 years ago, in entrepreneurship or anything else in life. But I actually have a follow-up question based on what you said earlier. You were saying how you can't take like an entire week off or stuff like that. Has there ever been times where you've had friends or you've had family functions like, I really want to come, but I can't, right? Or there's been times where you really want to go hang out or really go do something cool, but it's like, I can't do that because I got to build this. Like, this needs my attention right now.
I think that there was more of that. I dealt with more of that a couple years ago.
Okay.
I think where I'm at now is that I just prioritize.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm not going to miss my kids singing at school.
Of course,
You know,
of course.
I'm not going to miss my mom and dad's birthday. There's things that
They're
I'm gonna
non-negotiables,
make a
right?
priority.
Right. I got you.
And so I know those things ahead of time. I've already booked every vacation I'm taking this year. I just plan as far out as possible.
Gotcha.
And then work around it. I mean,
Okay.
if I know that my daughter is singing at her school on this day and this time, well then that space is booked in my calendar, and I treat that situation just like a client or somebody that I'm working for. You know, that's blocked out. It's going to get my undivided attention, and everything else is going to work before or after that. But that little time slot is going to get all of me.
Gotcha. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the thing is work-life balance is very important, and that's why I wanted to actually have that follow-up question. So I appreciate that. Now we got 23 employees now.
Yeah.
Man, that's an accomplishment, dude. That's an accomplishment. That's pretty dope. So let me ask you this: what do you look for in an employee for Titan Electrical? Like, you come in, they interview. Like, what are you looking for?
Well, hold on. Let me tell you something real quick. The accomplishment there is that, not that I have 23 employees, because
Okay.
I could have 100 employees.
Fair enough.
It's that I have 23 people on my team that understand my vision and have bought into what I'm doing.
I hear that.
And are willing to apply themselves for all of us to operate to the best of our ability and all working towards one goal. So that is where the accomplishment is. That is what takes time and effort right there, is finding the right pieces to this puzzle to make this company operate the way it
I hear
does. Every piece has kind of been added in a different manner. So it would take a long time to kind of tell you how it all comes about. Some people, like for instance, I hired a guy last week. My lead guy, my project manager, called me and said, "Hey, we've got to hire this guy. I've worked with him. He's the truth. He knows what he's doing. He'd be a great asset to the team. He's had a little falling out with who he's working for. That's the only reason he's available right now, and he's not going to be available for long. I may have overstepped my boundaries, but I already offered him some money, and I got him headed to a job today already.
Gotcha.
So I hired somebody last week before I even knew it.
Gotcha.
But my project manager knew what a great fit he would be, and he went out, and all the rest of the guys, after working with him for one day, man, that dude really knows his stuff. Man, that dude's really fast. Man, so we've added pieces like that. My project manager actually worked for somebody else for a long time, and I would throw him side jobs, or he would help me on side projects. And eventually, he decided he wanted to come over here, and he just told me one day, he said, "Hey, I put in my 2 weeks notice, so
Gotcha.
I'll be there in 2 weeks." And every situation's different in that aspect.
Of course.
Finding good people is really tough. Some people come in here and sell themselves like they're awesome. And then I got some guys that really short sell themselves. Come in here and act like they really can't do much. We get them out there and they're superstars,
Gotcha.
So some people like to hoo, look at me. I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And then you get them out there and they can't do anything. And then other guys just really humble. Hey man, just give me a shot. Let's see what happens. Get them out there and I'm like, give you a shot and see what happens. You knew you was going to come out here and stunt on my job. What are you talking about? So it's different ways that they approach the job. It's really kind of hard to feel them out on the front end. We just get them over here, and I let them know. I got a spiel that I give everybody that I hire to say, hey, most likely you're not going to work here.
Okay.
I mean, that's just it'd be kind of like you're going out for the Navy SEALs, and I'm not saying we're the Navy SEAls, but
No, I got you.
go into the Navy SEAls knowing there's a good chance you're going to get cut. You
Right.
know, you can go try out for the Cowboys. There's a good chance you're going to get cut. You try for the Titans, you might have a job. You get cut from the Titans, it's time to go pick up a basketball or a broom or anything else.
They weren't too bad this year, though.
No, we're not. I'm just,
I know.
I pick on my team because I love them.
Gotcha.
But I tell them all, hey, you're most likely not going to work out here just because we run a different style program that we're not what you're used to. But if you're willing to do what it takes to fit in here, and you see a value in what we've got going here, then the sky's the limit. I mean, come over here, jump on board with us, and let's take this thing to the top.
Gotcha.
So it tends to weed out the guys who just want a job,
Okay.
and really add an extra little piece of value to the guys that want something more out of life than just a 9 to 5.
Gotcha. I hear that. I have actually a comment and a follow-up question. I I think it really speaks to the culture when you're saying, like, you kind of just took your project manager's word, sight unseen, and you're like, I trust him. He said this guy's a superstar, and turned out to be right. I think that really shows a big trust on your end. But I think it really speaks to the culture that you've built around here to be able to be like, you know what? If he says that guy's a superstar, I'm going to trust him. And, I think that's really cool. Have you ever had a situation, this is my follow-up question, you ever had a situation where, and you mentioned where a guy came in and kind of undersold himself, right? And, and maybe he actually feels like he's at that level, but you see something different. And so maybe as the quarterback, like you mentioned earlier, you kind of have to pull that part out of him. Have you ever had a situation like that before?
Being a leader is taming the beast and petting the puppies and coaching those that are coachable.
Right.
And I mean, you deal with tons of different personalities, from the people I work for to my homeowners and customers, general contractors, and then employees. I mean, everyone has their own personality.
Gotcha.
Everybody has their own way that they receive encouragement, that they accept encouragement,
right?
That they accept discipline. I got to talk to everybody differently, and I think that's another reason, or another thing that sets us apart, is that I'm willing to invest in that person. If they're willing to invest in me, I'm willing to utilize my leadership skills to recognize what pieces they miss. I mean, as Titans Electrical, man, I've got this bag of tools, and every person I hire is a new tool that goes in that bag. And I've got hammers, and I've got saws, and I've got screwdrivers. Every tool is necessary to complete a job. You just got to learn the strengths and weaknesses, and really invest in them. Learn how to talk to them. So some of them are easily coachable. Some of them don't take it so well. Some of them, you gotta chisel off them bad habits, and some of them are easily massaged. So it's just being able to recognize people's personalities, and then find the best way to work together. It's just you can clash, or some areas I have to step up and be the voice, and some areas I'm willing to step down and let them express themselves.
Gotcha.
And every person's different. I imagine, man, you probably sit down and talk to a teacher, and you probably get the same answer.
Yeah.
With little Billy over there is bad as hell, and we got to yell at him every day and stick him in timeout.
Right. Exactly.
While Susie over here, we can't get 2 words out of her. She's smart, but she's nervous.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to get her to take a test. So you got to learn those. So it's just caring.
Gotcha.
Caring enough to invest your time in each one of your employees and get to know them and know what works best for them.
I hear that. I definitely hear that. You definitely want a certain type of culture at Titans Electrical, right? But it's not exclusive to everybody who's working here. It's also maybe to a few clients, if you will, right? Because sometimes maybe a client I don't fit. But have you ever had a situation where you had to turn away a client?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was speaking earlier about, the Corolla and the Cadillac.
Right.
I mean, when we started out, I had virtually no overhead. You got to think, I started 2 other companies before I started Titans.
Okay.
So Titans was my 3rd electrical company, and it's the one where I cut out all the partners and really was able to control it the way I wanted. So when I broke out from working with anybody else, it's 2008. 2008, everybody's like, why are you quitting your job? In 2008,
right.
Why are you quitting your job?
The sky was falling, right?
This dude is an idiot. What is he doing? But my thought, extremely practical to me, all these companies, everybody's trying to pinch their pennies now. Everybody's trying to hold on to those dollars. Why wouldn't they do business with me when I can go out as a one-man show, perform those tasks that right now they're paying another company $75, $85 an hour, and I'll come on and do it for $40. Give you half price, you'll get the same service, and you'll actually be able to talk to the owner if you have an issue.
Right.
You'll get a very good customer service from me, and you're going to get it at half price. It's 2008. Everybody's trying to save money.
Right.
Come spend that money with me. There's still money to be made when the market falls if you shift your way of thinking and you actually attack it in that manner. So while everybody else was freaking out like Jason's an idiot for branching out on his own right now, I saw an immediate need for someone who could do what I could do at a lower rate.
Right.
So as we grew and I could no longer afford to do things at those costs, then of course we outgrew clients.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to say right now that I have bad blood with any of those clients. I mean, I'm pretty good at talking to people and explaining up front our situation. Hey man, what we've provided to you up till now, we've made a decision to grow. We made a decision to get a shop. We made a decision to get vehicles, have an office manager, and be able to provide a elevated level of service to our new customers. So we would love for you to come on with us, and we'll still offer you a discounted rate. But we're not going to be able to continue doing the work at the price that we're doing it now, because it's not me doing the work anymore. You know,
Right.
We're a company. We're trying to make ourselves available to the whole city.
Right.
You know, and eventually to the state, and who knows past that. So
There you go.
the price has to go up as you grow.
Absolutely.
And we add more value to the
Exactly.
to the customer at that time.
Well, of
too.
course.
I mean, we're doing projects for much bigger companies now. Much larger outfits. We actually, these are contracts right here that I got to sign on work that we're starting next week.
Gotcha.
So there's a place for everybody in your journey. When we started, I was doing the work for cheaper. It's what I needed to build the foundation to get me to the point I'm at now. But I can't go back and do what I was doing at that point. But there's somebody right behind me who's got the same dream, who's doing the same work, who's just a couple steps behind, who's willing to do those same things. I talked to a kid the other day, just started his own electric company, mentoring him.
Right.
Been in business 6 months, and he's like, yeah, man, I had to take a job yesterday that's paying me $40 an hour. Well, you don't have no overhead. $40 an hour is great money if you don't have to spend it with anybody.
There you go.
So there are people out there that will feel that need for those people in that void that I'm leaving. And a lot of times, heck, if I had to lay a guy off, I sold him a truck and gave him 3 of my clients that just didn't fit into our equation anymore.
Gotcha.
So cut this piece off, cut those pieces off, put them together, and now they all operate together now. And it's a better situation for everybody involved.
I hear that. If you had one piece of advice to give someone who's just starting out, what would it be?
Make sure this is what you want to do,
Gotcha.
because it is going to be tough. It's going to be hard. It's worth it if your heart's in it.
Right.
But know inside you that this is what you want to do. No matter what it is you're pursuing, know deep inside you that it's something you want to do, because it's not all peaches and cream.
Right.
It's long nights. It's anxiety. It's stress. It's waking up and learning something new every day. And you really got to be on board for giving yourself and all of yourself repeatedly, day in and day out. So just don't think it's easy.
Gotcha.
Be willing to go for the hassle. Put up with the hassle for the juice.
Gotcha.
A lot of people, like I said, see that end game. We all want to be millionaires. Well, how come we aren't all millionaires? Because we all have what it takes to be a millionaire. We all can be millionaires. We say we want to be millionaires. We ain't willing to do what it takes to be a millionaire.
Right.
So before you bite off that big old chunk of entrepreneurship, just make sure it's what you want.
Right.
Don't step into it halfway. Don't guess. Don't dilly dally. You got to jump all in, and you got to fight every day and give it everything you got.
Got you. I know you mentioned, Gary Vee and Grant Cardone, but are there anybody else you consider mentors?
I've had mentors come and go
Okay.
In my life. My dad is a great mentor. I'm blessed to have an awesome relationship with my father.
Okay.
And even though he's never went into business for himself, and he excelled in the Army.
Okay.
And then after the military, he's excelled in every position he's stepped in. He's filled a leadership role. So I'm more, all gas, no brakes, make it happen. And he's a little more level-headed. So he'll talk me off the cliff every once in a while now. Sometimes ain't nobody talk me off the cliff. I'm jumping without a parachute and figuring it out on my way down. But
Got you.
He's a voice of reason in my life. So.
Got you. Okay. I know this should be a fun one. Where do you see your business in 5 years? Or your industry, for that matter, where you see it in 5 years.
Which business are we talking about? You know, I'm leaving tomorrow. By tomorrow morning this time, I will be in Nashville walking through our first project in Nashville. So we're going to move into the Nashville market.
Okay.
Got some great connections up there. I think within 2 years, my business in Nashville will probably be twice as big as it is here.
Okay.
We're working on copyrights and trademarks because the Secretary of State inside Tennessee will protect your name.
Okay.
Like, when I decided to name my company Titans Electrical, I had to go with the Secretary of State and go through their database and make sure that there was nobody else with that name.
Right.
So if you're operating inside state lines, you're protected by the Secretary of State on no one else using your name. But we're already looking outside state lines.
Okay.
So we want to corner the market and get that name tied down and the logo so that we can expand outside of Tennessee.
Okay.
Had a meeting last night with one of my business partners, and we're going next weekend to pick out our location for a restaurant that we want to open in Nashville in August.
Okay.
And along with that restaurant's going to come a clothing line, and I'm buying my first piece of investment property as well.
Nice.
So,
all right, cool.
I would say within 3 years, I wouldn't be surprised if I got my hand in 3 to 5 businesses. You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna cop some mopeds from my boy over here and hit Miami up. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? I just, man, like I said, all gas, no brakes, man. I'm taking every opportunity that comes to me right now. And I don't know if you've been to Nashville lately, but good Lord, it's booming, man.
Oh, it's been booming for the past about 8 to 10 years now, if not longer than that.
Yeah, but it's escalated now, man. It's 104 people are moving there every day.
Wow.
Nobody's leaving. Everybody that's moving there has money. They do something. They're providing a value to
Right.
the economy there. Talked to one of my equipment operators. It's a company that operates nationwide, renting out heavy equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Every crane they own is on rent in Nashville for the next 5 years at
Wow.
least. If you go look at the skyline in Nashville, in 5 years it's going to look completely different. I mean, there
can
are
imagine so.
high rises going on everywhere,
Right.
and it's growing. It's not only growing up, but it's growing out. So the suburbs are just, and it's unbelievable up there. I love it. There's something in the air when I step in that city, man. And I've always, I had tickets to Titans games. I've been going to see the Titans for the past 10 years, and I would zip into Nashville. Sometimes spend the night. Saturday night, but a lot of times zip in on Sunday, zip back out
Gotcha.
Sunday night. So I've been going to Nashville, but now, man, with the idea of carrying my company in there and opening a restaurant there and being a part of what's
that
happening
growth, yeah.
there. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on in that market right now.
I hear that. Let me ask you this, Jason. I believe all entrepreneurs have a superpower. What's yours?
No quit.
No quit.
No
All right.
quit. I might lay down and take a nap on you, but I ain't quitting. I think that's, if you get down to the meat of it, man, that's every entrepreneur's superpower is just the thought in their head that they don't fail till they die.
I hear that.
My business, I can go bankrupt. I can go out of business. I'll open another business. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. I'll open 10 businesses. What's
Right.
No quit. Just continually getting up and beating the street and going after it.
Gotcha. Yeah, they always say about entrepreneurship, you only got to be right one time.
Yeah.
Right. You just got to be right that one time.
Keep
so.
throwing irons in the fire
Right.
and see what happens.
Exactly. Well, I know you mentioned the expansion out in Nashville and the restaurants. Is there any other business ventures? The floor is yours to kind of advertise whatever is going on new.
Well, I would say that anybody that has found any value or inspiration in this, listening to this podcast, to find me on social media.
Okay.
You'll be able to keep up with me and communicate with me there. Jason Daniels, you can find me on Facebook. Life as Jason is Instagram and Twitter tag. But first, find me on Facebook, man. Send me a message. I'm not hard to reach or hard to talk to.
Gotcha.
And as you can tell, I like to talk. So let's connect, man. Anybody out there got any questions? I'm still a baby in this journey, and there are people that are way ahead in this game than I am.
Right.
But I'm not scared to bring people along the journey and let them witness as I go. I feel like I've been riding up this slow, tall roller coaster.
Right.
And I think 2017 is where we hit the top and we're flying down with our hands in the air. And, if I had hair, it would be blowing, But, so we just imagine I put a hat on with the Billy Bob hair, I think things are about to start paying off. And life, man, if you treat life like a game and you play it like a game, it really is fun, just like a game, man.
I hear that.
I think I've actually got the pieces in place to be able to play and win the game of life.
Gotcha. And actually, Startup Nation, you should actually see Jason's social media credentials and website in the show notes for easy access. Any parting advice for entrepreneurs for Startup Nation? any whatever you want to throw out there.
Man, like I said, just make sure that it's your cup of tea, man. Don't watch a movie and make your decision off of that. It's just like sports. I mean, heck, I was a kid and I watched Michael Jordan and I'm like, that's what I want to do. And then you go out on the court and you give it a shot and you're like, that ain't me.
Right.
I can't be like Mike. I want to so bad, but I can't be like Mike. The market in real life will kick you in the teeth. So make sure you're prepared to fight that fight. We all got to fight. Just choose your battle. And if your battle is entrepreneurship, if your battle is the business life, just train and be prepared, because it's not easy, and it's not easy for anybody. There's no overnight success.
Gotcha.
You miss out on the mundane day-to-day crap we all have to go through because it doesn't sell newspapers and it doesn't sell movies. So
I hear that.
Just know it's there and you're gonna have to deal with it.
All right, so that's going to end this session of the Startup Life. Jason, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Here's my final take. Jason is that entrepreneur that attacks his goals with reckless abandon, in a good way, of course. What I mean is he sets very high goals that would scare most people, but he understands that with a plan, you can't go wrong. And that's why his motto is all gas, no brakes. If you want to let us know what you think about the show or would like to advertise on our show, send us an email to the address in the show notes. Subscribe to The Startup Life, as it can now be heard on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. Also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Owls LLC. For behind the scenes look into what we do at Owls, follow us on Snapchat at Owls LLC. There you will see our creative process and exclusive content. And hey, if you have an idea, be about that life. The Startup Life.